welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Burnett. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go! Donoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count down Danny Beresne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Well, how long till it's us?
Literally right now, my friend. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to PSGL. It is the penultimate round, round 11. We get ourselves over to the mighty Las Vegas Strip circuit. As you can see, it is me. I'm back on the F3. You don't have Sappy tonight, but it is myself and Orme. How are we doing tonight, my friend?
Doing very well, Corey. And yes, no Sappy today, who we hope recovers soon, as he hasn't been feeling too well today. So he'll be watching from the sidelines, and we'll be watching 25 laps of action around Las Vegas on what could be championship deciding night.
Absolutely. It's good that you mentioned that. There's a 13-point gap between Reyes Imtiaz and Diego Zorzo. So tonight could be the night that Reyes can take that championship, or can Diego Zorzo fight it back, get the points needed to close up a little bit more, make it that all lovely final round showdown. You know, I'd love to see that personally. I'll be watching the final, definitely, whether I'm commentating it or just in the chat with everybody else, but that is certainly one that I'm not going to miss if it does go the distance.
And that's what we hope. That is what we hope. We've seen an incredibly close championship from round one all the way up until now. You, of course, had Gabriel Quintino getting a lot of momentum. He's found himself promoted to F2, which you can catch at 8 p.m. as they also have a very close championship battle going on, which is separated by 1 point. But back to F3, we've had 3 different pole sitters in the last 3 races since Quintino's basically been promoted, really. So that tells you how close it's been when it's come to qualifying, especially after Quintino's promotion. And Quintino, I think, was really the one who nailed qualifying week in, week out. So he's gone. And Quintino started to nail some of the races as well, which now means that with him no longer being here, there is an extra opportunity for the other drivers in the field to get this championship by the end of it, because we've really found ourselves in a phase where he could have possibly run away with it.
Absolutely. You know, he could have dominated. You know, it's good that he did get moved out, but now it does allow those drivers to catch back up on this more dominant driver. He has been promoted. He has gone to that higher tier to compete against the guys that are more of his level. A dominated driver in a season is not something you want to see. You want to see different winners, different pole sitters, different talent on that top step. And certainly, since Quintino has been moved up, you have seen quite a spicy fight. But it is Reyes Imtiaz leading the charge, Diego Zorzo, but then don't count out the likes of Tomas Lemon or Larry Toolkit to etch their way up to maybe P3 with the way the points are going to work. That's what they could look for, but that championship fight is well and truly on here tonight.
Absolutely. Today is going to be really what decides whether we go to Bahrain with a championship fight, or whether we go to it with one hand on the championship trophy for Reyes Imtiaz. A really interesting day coming up. And remember, in the middle of this championship fight, it's Las Vegas. We've seen before how chaotic Las Vegas can be, and it's going to be the exact same here today. So while they're debating the championship, it means they're going to have chaos left and right. You're going to have a very chaotic Las Vegas Strip every time we go around. So keep an eye on that. But that means that Reyes Imtiaz is trying to keep it clean, and the Haas boys as well, both trying to keep it clean, while also knowing they could get an opportunity to benefit from some chaos, but you just don't know which way it's going to go and who it's going to benefit. But I think one thing we can guarantee you, it's Las Vegas. There's going to be some sort of carnage.
Absolutely, like you mentioned, it is Las Vegas Strip circuit with its 6.1 kilometer circuit, 17 turns and 2 spicy DRS detection points. That straight in sector 3, slipstream DRS, deploy some of that battery. The speed you can get coming down into 14 It is unreal. You need to hammer those brakes on, slow that car down, because that is a 90-degree left-hand turn followed by a chicane, so you really need to be on the ball to make sure you make that corner stick in Sector 3. It's going to be carnage, it's going to be chaos. Well, we hope to see the mighty, fine, spicy battle for championship take it all the way through. The drivers are getting themselves ready. We have gone trackside, so now maybe the time to get us into qualifying.
With that, time to get into qualifying. You've got 18 drivers at the moment. I believe we're going to get another one joining us later on at some point throughout this 18-minute qualifying. We've already previewed, we've already talked about, Corey, the race that will be coming our way. First of all, we need to qualify for it, and in recent times in PSGL, we do award a point for this qualifying session, and every single point is going to be critical as we take a look at Diego Zorza. And while it's been a bit of time since we've been on air with you for this tier with lots of stops and starts, we can definitely remember, and we still definitely can tell you that Diego Zorza always loves being the first car out on track, whether it's run 1, which of course he does get the benefit with the Haas being near the end of the pit lane, or run 2 and 3. And another thing to remember, of course, with with the drivers not able to benefit with the slipstream, it means that the only effect that they will be getting is possibly a bit of distraction. So it does mean that being the first car can be very critical with no slipstream or any advantage to be gained, as distraction, especially around a circuit like this where they're trying to nail every single corner, it can mean that it can affect you. And we have seen so many points throughout the season with, while there may not be a car in front of them, or while they may need to go through it, we have seen that it has affected drivers and they've lost their times, they've possibly invalidated, or they've had a bit of a swapper on out of different corners. So definitely something for the drivers to consider. A big circuit this, but they're all making their way down the Las Vegas Strip with Diego Zorza about to begin a flying lap.
Absolutely. The Haas first to the track. He's looking to get that beautiful first banker lap in and set his benchmark for what is to come in his qualifying. It's good that you mentioned that slipstream is no effect, because there is a huge train of cars that all came out onto the tarmac to try and get the first flying laps in. They would have just bunched together and benefited with the slipstream. The collisions are off. It's all about your pace. What can you pull out? As Diego Zorza now gets himself through the first DRS zone, gets on the brakes, fires it round to the right into turn 5, and now gets into sector 2. Now I wonder what's going to happen here. What setup is optimum? Do you go for a lower downforce because of these straights, or do you add a bit of the wing because you have this sector 2 to navigate though? It can get treacherous, especially with cars diving in left, right and centre. Unorthodox overtakes could be the one to go for in Las Vegas. There is just speed, corner, and speed around these circuits. 12 is done and dusted, which is a very treacherous corner for some drivers. Has a huge sausage over on the left. You hit that understeer, you'll collect yourself in the barrier alongside. But now onto this legendary famous back straight where you will see everybody 4 wide potentially with the overspeed, with the slipstream coming down towards 14. This could get dangerous in the race in the Grand Prix when everybody's barreling down here to these tight twisty section into sector 3. It could get dramatic. Zorza's looking very squared away though. He's not diving into pit lane. He's happy to set this time lap. Where's it going to place him in terms of competition? The first time he sets, it's a 29.6.
Diego Zorza sets the pace for the rest of the field to try beat. Laminin is behind, then it's Tornalato in P3. JSD goes to 4th position. F4 champion from last season, Justin Ayertz in 5th, as Buba goes to the top and he sets a time which is a 1 minute 29.597 as Reis Imtiaz goes ahead, and that's a brilliant lap. A brilliant lap for Reis Imtiaz with his teammate going into 4th, and Reis Imtiaz just has to do everything right, Corey, for his championship battle as Tulki goes ahead. The Haas is applying the pressure now with Zorza in 4th, but this is going to be an interesting battle. And Corey, we've had loads of qualifyings where we've had Tulki, Imtiaz, Zorza all together, all of our championship contenders. I think we could be in for more of the same today.
Yeah, absolutely. The normals qualifying drivers that you see on the top steps or in the front rows may happen again. I've just brought us on board with Pascal Ranelli. Where's he going to go? He just falls in 6th. But you can see Haas, Ferrari, Red Bull all dominating that top 6.
Indeed. All highly competitive, all highly close, and we've definitely also seen that quite a lot throughout this season as we cut to the Aston Martin. And we also have to say a very big welcome to Oleg Napadovsky, who joins us in this tier as one of the reserve drivers. Yeah, he's had a bit of time away from PSGL, but he was a F6 champion back on F1 23. So a driver with lots of potential, a driver with lots of pace, and great to see drivers returning back as well to the league. And Oleg now participating in a higher tier as well as he now looks to impress.
I was just going to say, from F6 last game cycle, comes into the new game cycle, signs up once again, gets himself involved in the season, although it may be late on. Reserve driver filling in that top spot, looking to impress. He's up 3 tiers in his last racing season, so that's certainly impressing so far. Gets himself coming into Sector 3 nicely. You know, that chicane, it can get dangerous and treacherous, but Oleg's dealing with it well. Is this all the way to the line? Is this the time lap he's going to set? You certainly see it through. It's up to P4. Beautiful banker lap there from that Aston Martin reserve driver. Napadovsky, welcome back.
Welcome to PSGL, my friend. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff to see him immediately in contention near the front of the field. And he could be one to watch as well. His teammate currently in 15, still trying to get a time on the board. And I think with Carrera, I think we need to mention, the last time I mentioned, of course, this is when he was promoted. A 58-point gap. It is absolutely outrageous. A 58-point gap. When he got promoted from F5. And that's why he didn't go to F4. He went straight up to us. But he had a 58-point gap by the time that we got to the half stage of the season when it came to the F5 tier that's been running. He got promoted all the way up. And I think he is 30 points ahead right now of second place. So Carrera, if everything goes to plan, still set to win the F5 championship, even though he's not been competing in that for about half the season. And he's been enjoying himself and battling with all of these drivers here in F3. Here is Danny Van Rooten, a driver who's also participated and covered in an F2 round earlier this season, and now finds himself back in F3 and very close to the wall, Corey.
That was very, very close to the wall. Coming through turn 12, maybe just collected that curb. I mentioned it early on. That understeer, there's a barrier to stop you, and damage is inevitable. You must absolutely nail that to perfection. I don't know if he clipped it, but boy, was an Alpine close to getting it. He comes down towards the final couple of turns now. This is where it's going to show if he had the damage. It doesn't look like it. He's still got the power down. No moving over to enter the pit lane. He's going to set this time. He's going to set this lap as he powers down towards the line. He's in the 29s. He certainly is. It's a 29.547, and he slots himself up there on the front row just behind Larry Tulke. God, it's getting close here now.
Absolutely. Danny Van Rooten started as a reserve, promoted to full-time with Alpine, and there's a reason why he was given that promotion, and you're seeing it right here. Every single occasion that he came in with us, immediately fighting near the top, so it was absolutely brilliant to watch. He's had a third, he's had a second. Could he go on to take the win? Here is Thomas Laminin as he currently makes his way through, and Thomas Laminin, our pole sitter, of course, from a few rounds ago at the Jeddah Corner circuit, and he's back here at another street circuit, hoping to try and repeat the same trick.
Well, in terms of driver standings, he's trying to close up to the front three, just get a little bit higher in standings. He does have a 17-point gap from himself and Larry Tulke in that championship. So a victory is much needed for Thomas Laminin if he can pull it out of the bag. And I think he's aborted the lap there. I don't know if he's up on Delta or down on Delta. I think he's down on his Delta by a few tenths. So this could be an aborted lap for Thomas Laminin.
Absolutely. And Thomas Laminin, he's a driver who's come back fighting, and it will be interesting to see whether he still carries the momentum. Of course, we had the Christmas break in December, then we had another week break as F1 Sim Racing returned last week, so it will be interesting to see whether he's continued the momentum. But he was fighting at the front in Zandvoort, where himself and Sammy Simeone who were disqualified from that race, having finished first and second as well. So they were disqualified from that race, and then he came back immediately, taking pole position at Jeddah. So he was fighting back. He wanted to be near the front immediately. So let's see if we can carry that push forward. Another driver pushing forward today is Buba, looking to impress. He's currently in P4.
Yeah, certainly looking to see if he can get higher up and potentially, again, jump up in the standings. There's a mighty fine close battle in the midfield for points. Only a couple points separating some drivers. 2 from P6 to P7, 2 points from P7 to P8, which Buber sits himself in. But he was not happy with that lap. He dived into the pits though, and will try and get some fresh boots on to go again. Maybe even feel a little bit confident to go out again on a used set. But 8 minutes to go, I'd use the fresh compound. Get the best advantage you possibly can. Just seeing who else could potentially be on a lap. I think Larry Tulke is looking to improve on that pole time. And improve, it may come. Oh, no, he's down on the Delta. I jumped on board and the lap time in the top right corner lied to me a little bit. But we will deal with that later on. It said he was just under a 10th up on the Delta. But he wasn't. He was actually down on time.
Yeah, that could have possibly been also time lost in the third sector. So he must have maybe had a little mistake or something that would have happened. And it's a mistake that he wouldn't have wanted as Ray's Imtiaz looks to push on as well. Louis Welsh also returning back with us. He's had a round already under his belt. He is currently in 17th place. And he'll be looking to continue to push on. And he's got a teammate for today's race. We also welcome to the tier Oliver Knott, who also is jumping up with us in F3. So great to continue to see loads of new drivers coming in. But right now, as he goes down the Las Vegas Strip, attention goes to Ray's Imtiaz as he tries to secure a point for pole position. And he'll be looking to do that in a couple of meters' time. When he comes across the line, he's got Danny Van Rooten, Marcel Biega, and his one of his championship contenders, Larry Tulke, right now ahead. Let's see whether Ray's Imtiaz knows he's going to dive it into the pit lane. So he is another driver who would have seen the third sector fall a bit away from him. So he's going to come in, stay in sync with all of the other drivers, and push on to try and get himself to pole position. Here's another driver, Diego Zorzo, and he's the closest one, of course, to Ray's Imtiaz. So let's see whether he will be able to find the time. And he is currently on an out lap, as you can see.
Yeah, he's waiting around on his out lap, just warming up those tyre compounds. You see the weaving there down that back straight. This is where it is going to be most important. That straight, you can really scrub the front, scrub the rears, get the temperature where it's needed. You can see him aggressively weaving that Haas. Well, that makes all the difference in the cornering and how you can lay down the traction, lay down the power on your exits. Brake that little bit later because that tyre compound is roaring, ready to go and will do exactly what you tell it to. Other than that, we still have drivers coming through on out laps. Leonardo Tonolato is going to start a flying lap just in front of Diego Zorzo, but we will stay on board with Diego to see what kind of improvement can come his way. He is championship contender, trying to fight back against the Ferrari Racing Imtiaz. 13 points makes the difference. All Reyes has to do is outscore him by about 5 points and it may be over. Just off the statistics of wins, podiums, I think if they go level on points in the end of the season, it still goes to Reyes Imtiaz.
So, Diego Zorzo trying to find his way through and improving up the order as he navigates his way through the tight and twisty part of the lap, but he's about to get on the brakes and then get his foot down all the way through to the end of the Las Vegas Strip. Lots of curb use. Get as close as possible to the wall on the exit, and he's up by 1/10 of a second. This is absolutely exactly the improvement that Diego Zorzo needs. We've got 4 minutes and 25 seconds to go on the clock as well. So you've got Oleg still in the pit lane. Buber's on the circuit. We follow this entire lap with Diego Zorzo because it's going to be a critical one in his championship fight. Van Rooten's in third. Buber goes to second position. Great lap time from him. But now we look to see whether Diego Zorzo can find a similar improvement. No, he's invalidated. He's
invalidated into turn 15. He nailed 14. He comes around 15 and he invalidated it there and then. That is disaster. That is so unfortunate. That could have been needed. But he did manage to get in the pits. He still has the time to go again, as we've just passed under 4 minutes to go in qualifying. This is going to get absolutely crazy, I believe. I believe it will. Is that Tony Hatala coming for a lap? He's not. It's invalid. Well, so is Tomas Lamon, who we're on board with. Everybody coming to the pits. I don't see anybody on an out lap. Booba, though, could be on a timed lap. No, it's invalid. This is a double out lap for Booba. Unless he's just set a lap.
Yeah, absolutely. So Booba did find the improvement for second. So yeah, he has set a lap. So I think he'll be trying to come back to the pit lane. But yes, we were seeing loads of improvement. That was the improvement that I was actually focusing on. And then when I looked back at the track map, oh, it was red, as you can currently see for Booba on this out lap as well. So that would be disappointing. But as you mentioned, Corey, the critical bit is he's come back into the pit lane. He is back and ready to fight. Here is Aleski Cavero. As I mentioned, very nearly the F5 champion if things go a certain way in their tier today. But right now he's with us in F3 and looking to impress once again before the final season takes place on this game. You can, of course, join our PSGL Discord server and keep an eye on our socials for all of the information for that. Onto the circuit comes Reyes Imtiaz.
We will stay on board with Reyes Imtiaz, see what's going to happen here. We follow Diego Zorzo, championship contender, against P1 in driver standings, the man who could take it all, the victor to say the least, if Diego Zorzo cannot get himself up there. It's going to be treacherous in Vegas. It could come down to strategy, it could come down to the whole Grand Prix. Like, it could be dramatic. That's all I can say. Where Diego Zorzo is compared to Reyes Imtiaz, he's got cars in between him and he's midfield. All of those drivers barreling down into turn 1, around into turn 2. Lap 1 incidents, to say the least, would be so unfortunate. And to be in that midfield, you need to be careful. Cars in front, cars at the rear, no margin for error.
Absolutely, that is exactly what these drivers face. Tactics will surely come into play. I was talking to you, Corey, of course, before we went on air as well, with possibly some tactics for the leaders going on to the last lap. So we'll see definitely a lot of that, and it's been proven when we've gone racing here in PSGL in previous seasons as well. Right now, though, we're in the final moment where these drivers are pushing on, laps to the limit, and it's a critical lap for Reyes Imtiaz, who tries to get an inch closer to the championship by the end of today.
Oh, this is where it matters. This is where it needs to throw it all out onto the tarmac, scrub those tyres, really send it, almost contact there with that wall. Coming into turn 5, he's now into the second sector, slight improvement on his delta time, not too much to push him too far ahead though, and he comes through those dangerous tight twisty S's and chicane. Round 9, flat to the floor towards turn 10. This is where it matters. We've seen Danny Van Rooten get very, very close to that wall of turn 12. Reyes Imtiaz is going to be looking to send it hard and gain all that he can. There it is!
Oh.
It was very, very close. Maybe even contact. That back end tank slapping as he struggles to get the power down. Will he abort the lap or will he continue to power on through? That could have been qualifying ending for Reyes Imtiaz, but Diego Zorzo is starting his time lap. He's looking to put the pressure on that Ferrari driver. The championship is up in the air. Turn 14, turn 15, you can see being very, very cautious, not flirting with the track limits, and he does bail out of it. He will not improve anymore, does the Ferrari, so all eyes are set on Diego Zorzo.
All eyes are indeed set on Diego Zorzo to see whether he can find the time. That moment on the exit would have affected Reyes Imtiaz's run all the way down the Las Vegas Strip. We have Zorzo pushing it all the way to the wall, trying to improve. He's up by 2.5 tenths of a second right now. Keep an eye on the leaderboard. It will be changing quite a bit as Zach Miles puts himself up to 7th position. JST's in 11th. Louis Welsh is in 14th. That's the best that they will start, but there's still improvements to come as Larry Tulkey improves his time at the front of the field to take it further away. A 1 minute 29.2. We're watching his teammate though, the closest driver to Reyes Imtiaz in the championship. Let's see whether he can jump himself up the order. Tornalato to 7th place. Can Diego Zorzo improve a 10th? Possibly to the top 5, possibly to the front row. He can. He joins his teammate on the front row. A super lap for Diego Zorzo. And they're both beaten by Danny Van Rooten with a super time. The Alpine driver goes to the front of the field.
DVR, take a bow from out of nowhere like like a silent assassin, snatches pole position away at the last second. That Alpine is now on the top spot. Danny Van Rooten takes pole position after Larry Tulke dominates it for the past 10 minutes. What a result in the end. And Danny Van Rooten, take a stand, take a bow. What a lap. 29.2. Get yourself up there.
Brilliant. And I also want to draw a quick attention as we run through the order. I want to quickly draw a bit of attention to Oliver Knott. Brilliant on debut here in this tier as well. Coming straight in and immediately battling with some of the top drivers. And that was a major shock, but of course, slightly pushed a little bit down by the extraordinary times by the Hasses and the Alpines. But also loads of credit to Oliver Knott, who will surely be a contender as we look at the rest of the order.
Larry Tulke taking P2, Diego Zorzo just lining up third. Oliver Knott, like you mentioned, Buba, Marcel Biega, Thomas Lamon and Reyes Imtiaz, Alexi Covero and Leonardo doing the top 10. Zach Miles, Pascal, Oleg, Tony Atala, JST, Justin Ertz, Louis Welch, Damien Curell and Tristan Derbico finishing your qualifiers. Only 19 on the grid tonight, but these 19 drivers certainly have the talent and the know-how to send it all out in Vegas to give you a mighty fine Grand Prix as we head into the penultimate round. She'll bring us back to our commentator's corner from our sponsor. And we are back and we shall go over the standings so you yourself can see how close this really is in terms of the championship. We were mentioning it in qualifying, but there you see it for yourselves on the screen. Reyes Imtiaz being chased down by Diego Zorzo, only 13 points. We mentioned Gabriel Quintino. He's currently been promoted. He's racing in the F2. You'll be able to see him if you're a fan at 8 o'clock. But for now, it is all for Reyes Imtiaz and Diego Zorzo to fight it out between each other and get themselves a championship glory. Zorzo, as we know, a very quick driver, taking 2 victories this season. But Reyes Imtiaz, with 4 podiums under the belt, 2 victories, a P2 and a P3, sits himself there at the top on 80 points. Of course, Zorzo, we mentioned 3 victories this season, 3 chances he's taken away to make Zorzo and Reyes Imtiaz their little battle a little bit closer. But again, too much pace, he's in the F2.
Absolutely. And I think, of course, me and Sappy were covering the F2 tier when it came to the round in Australia. And I did look back at the results, and when I watched the entire race and the entire stream back, I noticed that he'd taken pole by 3/10, which is outrageous by PSGL standards. Yes, in real life, all normal stuff. PSGL, absolutely not. It always comes down to those close margins, and that's why we see these late times come in from all of these drivers. And in in more of the later PSGL, we've had more on the line when it's come to qualifying. In Vegas, the order's going to switch. But if you can get that pole position, you grab yourself a bonus point that comes with it. And great story as well for Danny Van Rooster, starting off as a reserve, has been brilliant on the podium, fighting for the wins in every single round that he's competed in. He's a full-time driver as he ends the season and looks to try and give a bit of a message to everyone before we go into next, where we'll hopefully see more of him.
Oh yeah, Danny Van Rooten, he sat there down the order in P7. He got pole. The points are needed to get himself just ahead of this little fight that he's in. Andre Molnar, the reserve driver, Danny Van Rooten, Boba, all very close together, scrapping each other for the midfield there in standings. DVR pulled out a masterclass pole. Where can he put himself later on in the race? That's what it all comes down to. The lobby restart is getting underway. Just bear with us while we get this going. But for now, constructors will be on your screen. Wait. That one, yeah. Sorry, I've only just set the button on the Steam Deck. But there you can see the constructors up. There's still a fight on for constructors as well as drivers' championship, so we can't point anything out onto the table yet. It's too close a margin. There are still 3 teams within that fighting chance. You have the Haas, Aston Martin, and Ferrari all battling down for constructors. You've been here longer than me, or me in the F3. You know more than I do. Have there been team tactics, questionable choices to try and get those extra points?
Well, I mean, one thing I will say, I think we've had more than teamwork as well. I think we've had some cross teaming as well, which resulted in some of the disqualifications, which you can also see right now on screen. So yes, there has been a bit of chaos going on with that. However, in team, absolutely, we put a question to the Haas boys, and I think that was a good one. To be fair, considering that Tulki and Zorzo are both in the championship, right? So I think we asked them a few rounds ago about would they keep it clean? They're both fighting for the drivers' championship. How much teamwork comes into play? And the response we got is, well, they're both teammates. They are going to try keep it clean. But yeah, it's always interesting to see. They may have said that a few rounds ago, but we're now in Vegas. Now we find ourselves with 3 points between them. They know Ray's Imtiaz is lower down the order. To try get themselves the championship, do some of those approaches, changes well and quickly as well when it comes to the championship. Of course, you had Gabriel Quintino getting a lot of points for Aston Martin. He kind of went. And then we had Aston Martin kind of dropping off a little bit. But I think today they've got 2 drivers who have loads of pace. You've got Oleg, who's come in, and he definitely looks hungry as well for some performances. And yeah, it looks like Aston Martin today, they have got 2 drivers who can really grab a good result. They seem confident with this circuit. They seem confident in the position they are in. So definitely keep an eye on Aston Martin. So in the championship, all can still change with that. I definitely don't count out Ferrari Zach Miles, a driver who's been across a lot of different tiers when it's come to PSGL, and also a championship contender in the F5 tier a couple of seasons ago.
Well, like you said, Zach Miles, Reyes Imtiaz in the Ferrari. They are certainly well within that striking distance, with Reyes being the Ferrari on top in terms of driver standings. The one to watch who's coming to try and take 1 championship. Can they make it 2? Will they work together when it is needed most? Get the Ferraris up to the top spot. Then it can be drivers and constructors lockout for season 38 for them in PSGL. You'd love to see it. You'd love to see the Ferraris completely dominate the season, but for now, the fight is very much still on for Diego Zorzo, and the Hasses are leading the championship. So if he can get that drivers, it will be a Haas lockout. It's Ferrari teams fighting together. Ferrari engine versus Ferrari engine. It's what could happen. Is it going to be spicy? Is it going to be crazy in the final rounds?
I think the simple answer is yes to that, Corey. Especially when it comes to Las Vegas. There is definitely going to be lots of action, lots of chaos, lots of tactics coming in to play as well. Lap 24 definitely does get pretty wild when they consider what position do we want to be going on to that 25th and last tour. And sometimes we do even get drag races to the line as well when they leave the last braking zone on this circuit.
Oh, yes. Drag race to the line, going all the way down out of 17 from 16. You know, if you can get the rundown, it is a good place for overtaking. You can get into 14, you can get a move, try and get ahead, but then you need to cover off the potential for, is there a racing line? Perfect. Are they going to get that rundown on you going all the way down to the line? It is literally a straight road, slight kink to the left, and you hit that finish line. I myself, quite a while ago, have been involved in a something like that last game in F1 23, where it was a drag race between me and another driver all the way down to the line, and it was about 6 thousandths of a second between us or something like that. It was crazy back then, but it certainly is going to happen here in PSGL F3 with the talented drivers you've got here. They will set up for that exact scenario just to give us the show, and I'm all for it here and now.
Especially when we have so much on the line. We're coming to Las Vegas when we have so much in the balance, loads of drivers trying to prove a point, loads of drivers promoted from lower tiers as well, loads of drivers returning back to PSGL. There's so much, of course, along with the championship battle. I think we've already got that pretty clear, that that is definitely pretty tense going into the final weeks. But there's so much going on as well when it comes to up and down the field, drivers switching in, drivers switching out. It's all going off, meaning there's so many storylines, and it'll hopefully be a great way to end off this season before we head to Bahrain. And really looking forward to that Bahrain round, especially if we do get a title decider in that one, because I got to cover a title decider about a year ago now, I think it was, here in PSGL with one of our very own Zach Miles and TS Cole, who you'll be able to see in F2 later on, where the lovely talking you through that one, along with Alex and in the live chat as well. So make sure you show him some live as well, with the F2 title also being separated by 1 point. But this is the amazing thing. Wherever you look here in PSGL, we've got a close title fight going on.
Yeah, absolutely. That is just how close it is, the talent around here. The drivers giving it their all for their chance of championship glory. Everybody wants to say that they've won it. Everybody wants to be on that top step. No matter what season it is, it may be your season to shine. But for now, we literally have F2, championship fight. F3, still a championship fight. But it could be wrapped up today, here and now. It all depends on how the Grand Prix goes. And as Omi likes to point out, and I love that it's so chaotic in Vegas, like he says. There's everywhere, it can be chaos, corner after corner, everybody fighting through, the speed you can get down the straights. Oh, that's just Vegas, baby. Las Vegas, Sin City, you love it.
Absolutely. All of the chaos that takes place, and I think that'll be the final time that we mention that for a while. I think we've got it across. That this race is going to have it all.
Oh, yeah.
It has the ingredients for a classic. So we are really looking forward to this, and we should be getting underway soon as well. Loads of drivers trying to grab their first podium, some with a chance for their first wins as well. And it's all about where do you place yourself when it comes those last few laps. We're going to get a bit of a scramble near the end, as I've already alluded to earlier on. It's going to be the leader not wanting to lead when it comes to the final tour. So where do you place yourself? What position can you get yourself in? If you decide to be in second and decide to back out of it, or possibly third, then you're going to get attacked from fourth. You're going to get attacked from fifth. You have to, on a lot, well, especially in the last few laps, you've got to look left and right and everywhere, really. The attack could come from everywhere, especially with how we get so much slipstreaming down to the end of the Las Vegas strip. You will get threats which you would not have expected. That's going to come your way in the final stages. First of all, though, the first few laps are about to begin here in Las Vegas. Keeping your nose clean will be critical, and of course, safety cars can really change up the race as well. And the race that we were doing, Corey, the safety car did completely change the race up earlier on this season, so possibly a bit more incoming here today.
Oh yes, I remember. I was in F3 earlier on in this season. Not done a lot of it, so you'll have to bear with me while I still remember what drivers the one to watch and who's going to be on the top step. But back in Belgium, yes, you're absolutely right. Late safety car caused everything to flip on its head, and what a race that was, and a finale it was. A way to finish the race in the closing laps. But for now, we are going to trackside. The drivers will now apply their setups. We hope that you don't forget your setups. Get it on so you can have yourself the best race possible with these lobby restarts. It makes it easy to forget that one little detail after you've just come from an 18-minute qualifying session. But the drivers now set their strategies, fuel load and setups, get themselves ready for 25 laps of the Las Vegas strip circuit.
Even if you've been watching every single round this season, Corey, I don't think you would be able to predict who's going to be the winner by the end of it. We can never do so across any other track, but let alone this one, where, as you mentioned, possible 4-wide, definite 3-wide, I think, at some point coming our way. So in this tier, it is completely impossible, and it's anyone's to win by the end of the checkered flag.
Absolutely. I am very excited to see how Danny Van Rooyen gets away off the line here, because that turn one is going to be crucial before he's under attack from Larry Tulke behind the driver who was dominating qualifying. He's certainly going to try and get the best start possible. Turn one, turn two, all the way through to turn 5 is going to be absolutely crucial in the start of this Grand Prix. And where cars place themselves and get themselves set up ready for that lovely DRS activation on lap 2 is crucial here, especially with how the circuit layout is. You can't predict what can happen. But here we go. The lights are on. There's 3 and 4 and 5. The grid is hot. The drivers are ready. Everybody's lining up and it's flat to the floor. We are go, go, go. Danny Van Rooyen gets away well. But he looks like it's Larry Tulkin looking for that dive into turn 1. He just can't get the placement right. Can his teammate Diego Zorzo do anything about what is looking like a charging Oliver? Not there. Oliver still trying to make it side by side, coming up to turn 4. He's looking like he's not going to get the rundown, but the Red Bull Abuba's certainly going to try and make it in there. Diego Zorzo could be looking for a move on the teammate. He's not. He's still needing to defend against that Kick-Sauber, but the Kick-Sauber's opened the door for Buba to come on through. He doesn't inevitably. The lines are crazy. You need to really be on point. We're line the slight contact. Diego Zorzo, Oliver not coming together. Zorzo having a bit of an issue though, coming into second sector. The opening lap is already showing a little bit of chaos. Not too many changes in the order. Nobody taking risky maneuvers. But there's something happened with Tristan Derbico, Justin Ertz and Leonardo. They fell behind. Seconds behind. It's not something you see in the opening lap of PSGL. It's unknown. Normally it's a huge train all the way down through the order. But for Derbico, Ertz and Tonelato, something has happened for them.
Caution thrown to the wind for the drivers, as was the bollard down this Las Vegas strip as the slipstreaming begins and the attacks start to come. We are seeing some of it now. Here is Damian Carrillo on those medium compound tires. You've got the top 9 on the medium compound tires. Let's see whether Carrillo can get himself ahead. Mercedes versus Red Bull, and Red Bull come out on top with Ranieri, who's in 12th position at this stage as the action immediately starts to begin. You have got the recarb coming into the pit lane in the background as well as we come over the line. That's JST, who's also given a 10-second penalty, and he'll be our first retirement here at the end of lap number 1 on to lap number 2.
Oh, a bit of a strange reason to retire, but we do see some more drivers getting into the pits. Maybe they've picked up damage. They don't see themselves recovering from it. Not at a circuit like Vegas. So their race has been fully ended. Tristan Derbico, however, has not retired. He is in the pits. Will slap on some new tyres, and I think he's going to make it back onto the circuit to carry on. Possibly predicting a safety car to happen, and like we say around here in Vegas, that certainly is yet to come. It could happen, but we are yellow flags as those retirees get themselves out of there. Ignore that, we're back to green.
Back to green flag, back to foot to the floor stuff. They were already finding themselves racing through as well as those cars disappear, as we don't get safety cars for drivers retiring in the pit lane. That's only if they touch one of the walls on this circuit, as here we go. We are now going to be finding ourselves with the slipstreaming beginning as well, and the DRS being activated like it does in real life on lap number 2, and it means that we're seeing a defensive shape thrown as we go side by side, and that's a big opportunity for Oliver Knott, trying to go the long way around, trying to get his foot to the floor. Does the Kick-Sauber emerge in front? He's getting the power down there, still wheel to wheel, as Buba looks for a way through as well, and immediately at the start of this one you're getting some side by side brilliant camera angles as they come over the line to make their way through. You could see how close it was as Buba moves up to 4th position, Laminin trying to get involved, and they're all over the road as they debate the positions on lap number 3.
Oh yeah, certainly making the moves as soon as they got that DRS. They're trying to put the power down, looking for unorthodox places, trying to size up their opponents, see what they're going for. We may have a 3 wide here going into turn number 5. Who's this? Oliver Knott, Tomas Laminin. Laminin making his McLaren large, making it known that he is there in the presence to take some overtakes. It looks like Oliver Knott may defend it off yet, and as he does, and keeps that P5 position, but that McLaren is certainly making his presence known. All he's done here is allowed Racing Seats to close up a little bit more. Will we see a move from that Ferrari? Championship is yet to come. He needs to get further up in the order. Zorzo is outscoring him and will close up that gap. Rays maybe want it to go to the final race, make it go the distance for a little bit of entertainment, but of course you want the best race possible early on. You want this championship wrapped up so you feel safe going into that final round.
He's a driver who wants to win. Doesn't matter what race it is. Doesn't matter what event it is. That has only been his goal. And the battle for third position has meant that they were very nearly losing time to the top two as Buba gets past and we're still going side by side. And Carrera up to 7th position. So Imtiaz drops down. That's super tight between the other Ferrari in the field and Damien Carrillo. And doesn't open the door for Ranieri, who makes it 3 wide. He's getting past them both on the run to the final corner on the circuit. And it is going to be the Red Bull who emerges in front as the action in Las Vegas kicks off immediately. 3 wide once again.
Whoa.
That could be contact between the 3 of them and doesn't open the door. Take a look at that. Louis Welsh trying to go through. He's past 1. Can he get past Zach Miles? Round the outside, and he's done it. He's made the move and he's taken P12.
Through goes Louis Welch. The kick Sauber sizing up an opportunistic move and absolutely pulled it off. What a way to get yourself up in the order. No needs to press on against Pascal Ranelli. But Ranelli's out of that DRS. He's not going to have the defensive measure. He's a sitting duck against that kick Sauber. Louis Welch has a free pass and maybe even a free overtake. Can he get closing that gap up? The DRS down this back straight as we come up towards Sector 3 will certainly aid in that. Louis Welch up more positions yet.
Louis Welsh behind Ranieri, who finds himself 1.4 seconds back. Now that's the thing, we are seeing with all of these battles going on, the drivers are finding themselves losing time to the drivers ahead, and not having that DRS around this circuit is so critical as we once again look to see where the action's going to be. And you're always going to get action somewhere. As you see the kick Sauber put alongside, Louis Welsh trying to improve another position. You can see Zach Miles darting left, darting right, trying to see where the door will open. Up against the Mercedes, up against the Red Bull, and very nearly losing the car. Damien Carrillo, who drops down. He loses out to Oleg, who gets through on debut in P14, and then Ranieri in 14th. That was Oleg gets ahead, and he's to the inside, and they're still going side by side on the run towards turn 1, but Louis Welsh is ahead of them all, and now he tries to make his escape.
Oh, Pascal Ranelli's trying to get back through on Oleg. Does make it. Does get on through. Now needs to power on ahead. Furthermore, up the field, there's a fight going on between all of these. We saw the order flip around a little bit. Covero, Reyes Imtiaz we're scrapping it out. Reyes Imtiaz staying in 8th position, but Buba's up on Zozo. Zozo down into P4, losing some points, which are very much needed in this championship. He wants to close up to that Ferrari. Larry Toolkey, currently being the better points finisher, may even pass his own teammate with the way things are sizing up. If Larry Toolkey takes the victory here, Zozo finishes where he is, you may see Toolkey be the one going into the final round with the chance at champion over Zozo.
And that's the thing as well. We've had Zozo look the Haas driver to be more in contention when it comes to the championship fight, but it could be the final moment where that switches, so that'll be interesting to see. As here we go, are we about to get a change for the lead this time around, as the Haas of Larry Tulki had to get really close onto the back of the Alpine, because Buba was directly there. More switching going on, and that's for the second train we've got due to the battling they had, and it means that train now in 11th, 12th, 13th, all dueling it out right now on this circuit, and they're about to continue as they come across the line to begin the next lap. Thomas Laminin is getting super tight as well to Oliver Knott as we do battle down to turn 1.
Oh, there goes Tomas Laminin looking for it around the outside. Oliver Knott still trying to defend it. He's done well coming around turns 3 and 4 early on in early stints, but he has lost out the position. Laminin goes through. Covero goes through. He drops 2 positions, but he looks like he's comfortable with it. He's not fighting that too hard. There's still 19 laps of this Grand Prix to go, and they're still only in their first stint. Strategy is yet to play out. Swapping those tyres and going on the long, maybe going for an undercut. Will the undercut be powerful? Will it be an overcut? Qatar is known for being good for it, and that's a fast-flowing circuit. Vegas, fast-flowing circuit. Will the undercut be the optimum strategy?
Could someone jump themselves massively up the order and give themselves a big opportunity, not only if you're in this train, but possibly the train directly behind? Do you try something that's absolutely out of the ordinary to get yourself back in the mix? Because Louis Welsh finds himself 3.6 seconds away, and with how this race will be on the last few laps, if you're up there, you may still have a contention, you may still be a contender. As we see, a change for the lead with this man, with Larry Tulki getting to the inside, I should say, and moving up to first position. Oliver Knott is wheel to wheel with with Ray's Imtiaz, and once again we're getting very nearly to 3 wide, and it will possibly be 3 wide as the McLaren tries to go through. Here comes Tony Hitala to the inside of the final corner. Will he take the position? He will take the place. Imtiaz doesn't want to give it up. Might be the championship leader, but he's still taking all the risks in the world. Still trying to keep his foot in all the way around the outside. These guys have to be careful, and they're very nearly into the wall. They very nearly throw themselves into the barrier there. And Imtiaz having to think about the championship, but also trying to stay ahead. And they've dropped 1 second to Carrera ahead.
Oh, they're losing time. They need that DRS. They can't afford to lose it. But the time is dropping. All this scrapping, opening these gaps, making drivers fall behind. You just need to keep yourselves together, set yourselves up for the end game. Although we love the entertainment, we love the moves, we love the lunges, you're only damaging your race ever more. We're saying that, they're getting themselves back into that DRS. It was only for a brief second. Ray's Imtiaz is absolutely sending it. There's got to be battery deployment in a place where the rest of the drivers are choosing to save it.
Absolutely. And yeah, quickly going back to the strategy that we mentioned with, of course, we had in the F1 Sim Racing World Championship that was going on, Tom Manley on the tyre that he didn't believe that was the right one, and we had hards versus soft, but due to all of the battling, he still found himself in contention. Could be a similar story today for someone in the field with how it's going to be on the last few laps. It is going to be an opportunity, even if you do find yourself on an old degrading tyre, just due to how powerful the DRS will be, just due to how close and how everyone will be bunching up. As you can see the gaps as they come out of the final corner and onto the next tour we go. Top 3 glued together, 4th and 5th of Zorzo, Laminin there as well. Imtiaz will try to recover back the gap after it nearly went to outside 1 second. It's now 7 and 8 tenths right now as he tries to close that back in. But yes, this is the race where we are seeing more trains developed than usually. Usually at this stage of the race we have first down to 20th, all the way through, and then we start seeing it after the pit stop phase. But today, different story, just because of how eager the drivers are to go for some moves, and just how the circuit is constantly inviting drivers to go for overtakes, and how they're all bunching up, meaning they have to go for the moves.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't want to cost themselves any time whatsoever. They are going for these moves. If that door is open, they're going for it. And we may even see Booba here looking for a move on Danny Van Rooten.
Ooh.
He's sizing him up. He looked to the inside, looked to the outside. The move isn't on yet, and I don't know if he'll be close enough to make it yet. Larry Tulke, though, has gapped. As Danny Van Rooten turned off his battery to recharge in that part of the track, he's allowed Larry Tulke to bridge almost 7 tenths. Maybe he needed to recharge, use that deployment to stay within that pack. All it's done is allow Booba to get very, very close. Is Booba going to make a move? Not yet. Waiting it out, patiently waiting for the right time to strike. Drivers using their heads, don't want to cost themselves in unfortunate incidents. He keeps sizing him up, keeps looking for what could happen, making himself large in the mirrors of that Alpine. It's a very fast Red Bull looking to chase down Larry Tulke.
Absolutely. You've got Booba, who wants to go on the attack, who wants to go on the charge and try and make up some positions. He's 8th place right now in the championship as well. He's had 2 podium to his name, including round 1 in Australia, and then also at Zandvoort when it came to all of those late disqualifications and penalties coming in to play as well in one of the more crazier races, as is every round. And I think this one will definitely be added to the list by the end of it. It's already turning into a bit of a classic. The Mercedes pair have both pitted. You have Curiel coming out onto the circuit. You had Delacourt who pit earlier on. And you've got Booba once again, Corey, pushing the Alpine through this part of the lap.
Oh, he's really got the pace advantage here coming through Sector 2. You can see the difference between the Red Bull and Alpine. It's got to be Van Rooten turning that battery off. He must be recharging. He's probably preparing for that pit stop phase, so he needs to deploy it, get the track position ahead of Larry Tulke, and maybe come out ahead of him and under the pit stop strategy. This may be what he's going for. He needs to get past and needs to get past soon to get that track position and maintain what could be the lead for victory. Your pole sitter is going for some, I don't know, maybe interesting strategies. You see the DRS breaking, they're not. They dive into the pits and there it is. Pit stop strategy starts to begin. 9 laps on mediums and that is all she wrote. Onto the hards to go to the end. Finish the distance.
Absolutely go to the end unless there is any interruptions when it comes to the safety cars, but the plan would be to go to the end. But around Las Vegas, safety cars are definitely possible as they're all going to come back out onto the circuit. A very close moment between Tulki and Van Rooten, who I believe is just going to be ahead. So the Alpine in front of the Haas, then Buba right now in a net P3, but these guys are going to now find themselves with Justin Ayertz directly in front. Still yet to make his pit stop, but he is massively off. So where they pass Justin Ayertz could be critical. Could be critical as well. In terms of this race, Zorzo, Biega continuing on, and Zorzo, of course, having to make that move to make sure that he doesn't lose the time when he comes into the pit lane with double stacking, with his teammate also diving it in on the end of lap number 9.
Absolutely, but I mean, look at Van Rooten. He's closing that gap up already, and he's only just put them hards on. If he can put a car between himself and Larry Tulke, this would be perfect for his Grand Prix. But they'll both benefit with the DRS. Justin Ertz is just a sitting duck here. He's not going to benefit. Look at the run that Danny Van Rooten's got. It was half a second gap. It's now falling under 2/10. They're going for the move. They've got the slipstream before the rear wing is even open, and the move could be done and dusted for both cars, maybe even 3 cars. The Red Bull getting involved. Buba following on through, managing to get through on Larry Tulke. Can he get through on Danny Van Rooten? Not quite yet. Does not dive forward in turn 14. Danny Van Rooten leading that charge of cars. That train, they battled all race long for the top spot, and he is leading net P1 once again.
He absolutely is as well. As they come over the line, and there in the background you can see Laminin going to the inside. Laminin trying to get ahead of Justin Ayertz. Justin Ayertz not fighting that one at this stage. Tony Atala is retiring from the race in the McLaren that is in the pit lane, so we will not be getting an interruption for that. Imtiaz has come out as well, so he'll be the next taker to get by on Justin Ayertz. But we're back to all of them being in a train, all of them finding themselves now setting up all this. We've had 3 retirements, 16 still running, and all of them looking poised and ready to end this race on a high. And we're going to get a brilliant battle. We've already had brilliant battling for all sorts of positions, but now this is the moment where the racing is going to get even more tense and even more chaotic as we approach the final stages.
Oh, I've got to agree with you there. Now that they don't need to manage those tyres, they don't need to be as careful because that tyre life has burnt away, that grip has gone. Marcel Biega, oh no, sorry. What's happened there?
So that was Welsh getting ahead of Zach Miles at that moment as they were battling for second place. But Marcel Biega, of course, has the gap. But this is some of those different strategies. Continuing on.
Oh yeah, my bad. I jumped to the wrong position. I was going to look at the fight between Buba and Danny Van Rooten, but I actually pressed P1 instead of P7 thinking they were still at the top. The gaps are confusing me because this is not normally what you see, but under pit stop strategy, it is inevitably going to happen. The Red Bull leading the way now. Net P1 as Pasquale Rinelli goes into the pits. He's going to come out, but this is where it matters now. He's going to have extra tyre life. He's gone a little bit longer on his tyres.
Yes, indeed, as we put the foot down once again. So you've got Buba right now in the lead as well. If you're just joining us, we're seeing loads of different strategies currently at play. You have got your top 4 still yet to come into the pit lane. You've got Ranieri, who's just put on those medium compound of tyres. He was the driver who has just come out of the pit lane as he will look to try and attack. But yes, loads of different strategies. Biega looking in a good position as well, we have to say, with a 5.6 second gap, just enjoying himself at the front of the field. But it means, Corey, these guys can't afford to battle too much because they will bring those drivers who will have the yellow ball medium compound of tyres at the end of the race into play.
Yeah, Marcel Biega, Louis Welch, Zach Miles and Oleg clearly going for that medium end stint as they started on the hard compound tyre. The question is, when will they choose to box? The harder compound tyres behind them, they're warmed up, they're fired up, they're ready to go, and they're going the distance to the end. So as the time starts to drop, it makes you question where those front 4 are going to come out after their pit stop strategies. This huge DRS train is only going to help these hard runners to maintain that speed over those medium runners, but in the corners, the mediums will be king and take the most out of the time that they're going to lose. Reyes Imtiaz takes a new fastest lap of the race on his fresh tyres. So you can see there the improvement in grip. You can see there the improvement in time so far. The gaps are only ever going to drop to the front four. When are they going to choose to box?
Absolutely, and I think we could see with Razy Imtiaz, he was darting for a move down into turn number 1 as well after he completed that fastest lap. So Razy Imtiaz immediately wanting to go on the charge as well. Diego Zorzo is going to have to pass his nearest rival for the championship right now of Rays Imtiaz on the circuit if he would like to get himself ahead. But Diego Zorzo, of course, on the different strategy when it comes to having to go longer, so he finds himself behind. But Razy Imtiaz will be pretty happy with how it's worked out, because if you take a look at it, he only has one car in between himself and Larry Tulki, not the same gain that we were looking at earlier on, and that's all out of shape for Thomas Laminin, and Razy Imtiaz had to get out of it, and Cavero goes through.
That was beautiful there for Cavero. Slight little moment, getting all out of shape, wobbling. You saw the back end of that car slapping left and right. Zorzo is there in P10, just ahead of the rival, Razy Imtiaz. He will score ahead of him, but it may not be the points enough to bridge too much of a deficit. All eyes on Larry Tulke to be the one to jump ahead of his teammate and potentially be the new contender for champion. Every point matters here in the penultimate round, and Larry Tulke will be the one to take fastest lap. So is there an extra point for fastest lap?
Yeah, there is. Absolutely.
And there it is. Every point matters. Larry Tulke knows it and gets one more point added to that final score, closing the gap down to Razy Imtiaz. And there, as he makes a move, once again under DRS up to turn 5, it's more points to add.
It is indeed, and goodness me, is this race changed, because a second ago I was mentioning how there was only one car in between Tulki and Imtiaz. Take a look at that. You've got Tulki, your net race leader. You've got Imtiaz all the way down there as well in 11th. Loads of cars now in between, and you've got Zorzo, who was able to get through as well. But yes, this is really turning into one of those races which leaves us set for some exciting contest and some exciting championship battle next week. But still, things can change, and things will change as Zach Miles moves up right now to what is overall second place. We're still looking at this battle with Van Rooten closing in, pulling alongside, and that should be an easy move when he picks his braking spot. Further back, you can see Laminin trying to take back the place that he lost earlier on, and he will get to the apex first. He will get to 8th. So after that big wobble a few laps ago, he is back up there, and he's got 1.5 seconds ahead now. So we are seeing the leaders pulling away as Biega comes into the pit lane. So another train, this could be forming.
Oh, we might see a little bit of a move there. Diego Zorzo's looking for it on that Aston Martin. Alexi Cavero under attack, and that inside line was exposed. Through goes Zorzo. Textbook stuff, overtaking 101. That door was open. There was a gap. You dive for it. The inside line was taken, and he closes up ever more to Tomas Laminin, looking to try and gain and pull away from Razy Imtiaz. They also have the constructors to think about. So where the Haas boys are right now, this is beautiful in terms of their championship. But for Larry Tulke, it's beautiful in terms of a drivers.
Indeed. And for the Haas drivers, I wonder with, of course, them mentioning about teamwork as well. And even if they're both fighting for the championship, they will produce teamwork. I wonder next week if we see Larry Tulke have have the more realistic chance, and Zorzo not really with a chance as well. I wonder whether the Haas pair do decide to work together to try grab Tulke the championship as well. And you'll definitely have a big opportunity now coming down on the straight as we once again go side by side. So that's Zorzo getting through. You've also got the opportunity for Cavero, who makes the move, and Razy Imtiaz going or trying to get to the inside as well. Very tight through these final few corners. It's Imtiaz right now in 10th. Oliver Knott in 11th. But as I mentioned, the leaders have now got a 2-second gap to this second train behind that you are currently watching.
Yeah, you see the rest of the drivers there getting pitting. So now the order is set. Wherever those three drivers come out on the track is where they will be. Larry Tulke stood there on the top spot. This is beautiful, but all that has done is allowed Reyes Imtiaz to get into the points. That is what Reyes is hoping for. When those pits came onto play, he can get some points back, make it a little bit harder. But for Larry Toolkit, got the fastest lap. He may look strong for victory, and if he takes the victory, we'll get that fresh, sweet 18 points to close himself up.
Indeed. So, they currently fight their way and continue to fight their way through as well on this circuit on lap number 16. Soon to be heading on to the final stages of this race, and those critical final stages where the drivers do have to make those decisions. We've got this 3-car train forming up, which I'm sure these drivers will be pretty happy about, because there's a lot more chaos that goes in when you have everyone there, when you have everyone trying to improve to those second and third positions, ready for the last lap. Talking about positions, we're seeing some changes now as moving up into the lead is Boomer, Van Rooten to second, and that's how quickly you can change around this circuit as Tulki finds himself going from first to third.
There you go. It's all changed in an instant. That just easily done here with that slipstream, with that straight as you come down towards 14, 15 and 16. Overtaking heaven, to say the least, for these drivers. Buber now leading the charge. Danny Van Rooten, pole sitter, still in prime position to take the victory away. Well, Larry Tulke, it's all for him to charge for. Championship on the mind. It can certainly play with your mental game, put you under a little bit of pressure. But these drivers have they do come into these races with only one mindset. Pressure is for tyres. I fumbled that. It should have been the other way around. I would say tyres for pressures, but pressure is for tyres.
Absolutely. As we currently navigate our way round. So Laminin now dropping down to 7th as well. Imtiaz will try get his way through. But now we've got a better understanding of the race with our drivers on the alternate strategy coming into the pit lane. So you can see really that we're currently looking set for a 3-way battle heading down onto the last few laps, with a great battle going on for 4th position, and these drivers getting all ready to capitalize. Marcel Biega is definitely the one to keep an eye on, who could upset the likes of Reyes Imtiaz and Thomas Laminin by going on the charge, by going on the attack. Talking about the attack, Danny Van Rooten back into the lead, and that will be a never-ending story all the way till the end as Zorzo moves up to 4th position.
So Diego Zorzo now looking to try and close up and make it a Haas 3-4. But in terms of where he wants to be, that's damaging on the ego. He's still got 2.7 seconds to close up, and with that broken DRS, it may not happen here in Vegas. They're just pulling away. They're just gapping her. Reyes Imtiaz in a bit of a scrap though with Tomas Laminin. Almost maybe contacting to turn 1, but as they come through 3 and 4, it is Reyes Imtiaz leading against Laminin. Oliver Knott now looking to put pressure on against Alexei and Diego Zorzo. Can he do any sort of moves from where he is? Not quite yet. Can that kick Salby we've seen early on in the race, in the first stint, get into those aggressive moves, into those overtakes and into those fights? He's just waiting for that door to open.
He absolutely is as well. So that will be what he will be considering. Biega will be hoping to get onto the back of this as soon as possible so he can start gaining some positions and give himself a good opportunity when it comes to getting possibly a 4th. But the moment for Thomas Laminin, where he found himself losing the whole pack time, may have just completely transformed the race from what possibly could have been a 9-car battle all the way down to a 3-car battle for the lead. But it's still going to be exciting. It's still going to be on the edge. And these three still have enough tactics to deal with as Buba gets back to the lead. Cavero to 4th, Laminin ahead as well of Imtiaz. Imtiaz doesn't want to give it up. It'll be close when they go to our camera shot. It was close, and it's Imtiaz still in 7th as Louis Welsh also got ahead of Zach Miles, and a good lap of passing there down the Las Vegas Strip.
Oh yeah, you see the drivers making these moves. Still 6 laps to go. They're not risking losing any time. Now the laps are ticking away. They need to get themselves into position. Laminin is still putting pressure on Reyes Imtiaz. He has good pace through Sector 1. You've seen it with that McLaren. Look at this. He's on the charge, on the attack. What a run for Tomas Laminin to take that position back against Reyes Imtiaz. Reyes must be feeling some form of frustration here. He's losing out on crucial points. We said it before, he wants to win every race. That's the driver's mentality. And where he is though, a championship on his mind, it's going to be crushing. He still has 6 laps to do something, which McLaren is making it very, very difficult.
They are indeed. So, well, Thomas Laminate now finds himself. Well, these guys, the gap got to 1.5. They've recovered it all the way to 1 second. I don't know if they'll get DRS this time around. But right now, these two drivers finding themselves in what will definitely not be a fun moment of racing, definitely of this season, where they've had plenty of highs as well, as we are getting another change for the lead. Welcome back to the leading group, to Danny Van Rooten. We are going 3 wide now in the battle for 4th, as Zorza gets ahead. Then it's Oliver Knott who is impressing in 5th position. Carrero in 6th, as Curiel retires from the race to become our 4th retirement.
Retiring in the pits, ignore the yellow flags, no incident to be seen. Well, it looks like Cavero has had a run, coming down out towards the line. He's going to go around the outside, the long way around into turn 1. That back end's kicking and sliding. He's not got the run, but he does dive it back to the inside line. He's going to hold that through 2 and 3. And on the power for 4, they're still side by side. Both drivers with DRS. It's a drag race to turn 5. And Cavero gets the move done on Oliver. No, but he's locked in his red wide. He's hit the wall. Hopefully he's not picked up too much damage, but Oliver not goes straight on through with that mistake from Cavero. That is crushing. That is unfortunate.
Absolutely dramatic stuff there, as we saw the battle resolved, it looked like, until it all changed around once again. And yes, they are very nearly bringing Imtiaz into play. Viegas on the back as well with those medium compound of tires. Keep an eye on him, trying to make a bit of a charge in this one as well. As we take a look at Marcel Biega, he will be getting DRS and he'll be getting closer and closer to this battle that will go on. I think this battle now might just be connected back into a battle for 4th position, with Reyes Imtiaz just getting DRS. It's still 1 second, so it's going to be close between those guys as we look back to our trio debating P1.
Yeah, still deciding on what they're going to do. Everybody else just coming down that straight. We have Zach Miles, Louis Welch swapping positions there. Easy done with the DRS. Zach Miles not benefiting from such advantage from that tool to use as a weapon or to use as defense. You can use the DRS in any way, shape or form. It's all down to your mindset and strategy of how you utilize the tools given to you on the track to maximize your race advantage.
Absolutely, as we cut between all the battles going on the circuit, we're seeing Laminin get through back on Reyes Imtiaz, and yes, it's really turning into a day to forget for Reyes Imtiaz at this stage, on a night where he could have considered himself, could have called himself the champion of F3. Might just need to wait another week, and well, that might not even be guaranteed next week. It could go the Haas driver's way. It will be interesting to see though, what can Lari Tulki do? What sort of position can he put himself in these final stages? And we are looking set. I mentioned this at the end of at the end of Japan's broadcast, that we were going to be set for Las Vegas, deciding whether we're going to get a last race championship decider. I mentioned it earlier on again today, and it seems like that is going to be the case. It all comes down to Las Vegas in deciding this championship battle. Buba right now is finding himself back to the lead. Carrero back ahead of Diego Zorza.
Yeah, just swapping, exchanging that DRS now. They're not taking any risky manoeuvres, but still keep your eyes on Biega. He is closing up to that Ferrari, closing up to Mas Laminen. He could make it one more car in between them. There goes Reyes Imtiaz. He's had a perfect run in a drag race down towards the final turn and managed to swing that inside line to his advantage and take it. Maybe he's opened that outside line now, though. He has indeed. Here comes that McLaren looking to take the position back to Mas Laminen. He's making this very, very, very difficult for Reyes Imtiaz as he does take the position back once again. Danny Van Rooten getting through on Larry Tulke. Larry Tulke's staying very close to the rear of that Alpine. He's not going to let that go easy. He's not going to let it go calmly. He wants to fight it back. He's staying close, ready to act on it when he gets the DRS coming down that back straight out of turn 13.
Exactly what he is trying his absolute best to do as we take a look at Tulki. These are the moments where you're like, where do I position myself? They can see the 24, they can see the 25th lap getting closer and closer, and while all three of them will have a position in mind, where would they like to be? However, someone's going to be that leader, and does someone bolt forward, risk having the lead, and try and survive? The actions right now for fourth as well between those three. Zorzo, Carrero, not right now, who's down to sixth, looking further back, and Biega did get ahead. Biega did get ahead. Now that's a critical one. He's got the medium, so he will now try and pull away. And considering Corey, the pace that MTAS and Laminin currently are showing, I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to try and break himself clear of this battle, because these two found themselves back inside the 1 second, then they lost it once again. So Laminin really struggling out there on the circuit.
Yeah, so is Rays. They just don't have the pace that they were showcasing in qualifying. They were looking to set some good time laps, but here in the Grand Prix, they just can't get the pace.
I think that's also damage for Rays as well. Sorry, Corey. I think there's damage as well for Rays.
Oh, he does. He's missing a front right end plate. That is why Rays is so slow. He may have clipped the barrier. He's lost that end plate. This explains a hell of a lot, and that is race crushing. This will certainly make it all the way to the final round. There's nothing Race can do to fight that back. He will not have the downforce, and these corners, they need downforce. He's going to need it most, especially in Sector 2. The time loss is going to be exponential. But he hasn't lost too much yet to Marcel Biega. Biega benefiting on those medium compound tyre. He has the ability to lay down the rubber, to get those corners more aggressively. But with how many straights there are, you just don't see the advantage.
Absolutely, it's getting very tense for the lead. It's getting very tense everywhere we look on the circuit as well. So, Booba sends it to the inside. It was getting oh so tight between all three of them as Laminin gets back ahead, and Biega is down to 9th position once again. So Laminin ahead of Imtiaz. Imtiaz is not got momentum. It's down to 8/10s, could be 9/10s, so this could be Thomas Laminin trying to pull away. Biega will need to try and fight away through as they send it round. The final corner on the circuit does a door open for him to try and make the move down to the first turn. We are on the penultimate lap. This is where the nerves will be getting higher and higher, especially if you are in the top three, especially if you're raising MTS, trying to secure every single point that is possible, trying to stay ahead of Marcel Biega, who's throwing out of the slipstream here, and he's getting himself past. He moves up to 8th as Zorza gets ahead of Oliver Knott. He's another driver hoping that he can get himself fourth, and that will be the best position that he can get unless there is chaos and carnage between the top three at the end.
Oh, Bahrain is setting up to be a mighty fine season finale with the way the points are looking. Reyes Imtiaz having an absolute stinker here in Vegas has allowed the Haas team to crawl back up and get ever closer to Constructors and Drivers' Championship. It could be a Season 38 Haas lockout here in F3, and Diego Zorzo is looking to make one more move here on the penultimate lap, setting himself up for the final run. Gets through on Cavero. Can Oliver not follow on through? Not quite yet. It looks like Cavero's not giving it away easy. He dives back in that slipstream, but just can't get the speed needed to stop the advancement.
1.2 seconds. These guys have got close. These guys have got super close. Could they possibly join the party at the end?
Well, we're about to start the final lap. What have they got going into these next two sectors before they get to that Sector 3 straight? This is getting interesting. This is getting spicy. Diego Zorzo breaks into the DRS. There it is. Will it open? Will we see it here in Sector 1? The rear wing is open and he's done it. He is going to close up on his teammate. And what an opening start to lap 25 it was. Wow, that was such a margin to gain, and gained it he did. He is within that striking distance. He is there to try and get closer, to try and get the moves done. Larry Tulki all over the rear diffuser of that Red Bull. He knows he needs to set up now. Victory within sight. Danny Van Rooten trying anything he can to gap the cars behind. He needs to save the battery, save it all. He's going to have to burn it down that straight. Oh my word, we're going to see a mighty fine fight into 13 and 14 here.
Here we go. We get our foot down. These are the critical moments. Diego Zorzo's done all the work to try close in, but it's mainly going to be between the first, second, and third drivers heading down the Las Vegas Strip. Can Booba try and make this move? Can Tulki try get involved as well? And pulling out of the slipstream. Booba trying to get himself victory this season. He's out of the slipstream. He's going for the move, but also here comes Larry Tulki. Can he try get himself in the mix? Booba takes the lead. Tulki to second position, and Danny Van Rooten finds himself fading down to third position as they get their foot down. Can Larry Tulki secure it at the end? Can he pull out of the slipstream and go for the move at the end? He's going for it. This could be Critical Roads Championship. It's side to the line, and it's Booba who's done it. Booba does it by 0.5 of a second, and Larry Tulki though is going to find himself giving us a last race decider for this championship with second place, but he missed out, and Van Rooten was close as well in third.
Oh my, and Justin Ertz in turn 12 has hit the barrier and DNF'd as well. That was a drag race straight to the line. Larry Tulki just did not have the speed. Almost threw it out. The top three separated within a tenth. They were so close. That photo finish, but Booba puts his Red Bull on the top spot. Victory is his for the taking, and for Larry Tulki, championship is well within sight.
Well, we've set ourselves up for some finale come Bahrain. Cannot wait for that one. But yes, we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast that we could possibly get a drag race to the line. Who could possibly do their best Otis Lawrence impression as well? And well, Booba just hanged on very nearly for Tulki. And how much could that have changed this as well? Those 4 extra points. How could that have changed himself going into Bahrain? I mean, he's still got an opportunity. I think we need to remember that. He's still absolutely in the mix. But that little extra 4 points, who knows? By the end of Bahrain, that could have been those 4 points that got him the championship. And those little margins, maybe 0.5 of a second at the end of this season might have cost him the championship. Who knows? It's PSGL. And exactly at the moment where we thought it was looking in Rei's Imtiaz's favour after Japan, it's all switched around again.
Wow, what a finish, what a result. And of course, you see yourself going the distance. It will be decided in Bahrain. But for now, Booba takes that top spot. Larry Tulki P2 and Danny Van Rooten, your pole sitter, scoring the podium and getting some decent points to propel him a little bit higher up in the standings. Not so much. He'll only make 1 position provisionally as it stands, but it's still 1 more position gained. Oh, Diego Zorzo, so close for championship, just can't quite get there yet. It's Larry Tulki to be the leading Haas. Covero, Oliver Knott, Tomas Laman and Rei's Imtiaz, Marcel Biega and Oleg Napadovsky coming back after not racing in the league since F1 23 to get into the top 10 there. Wow.
Absolutely. As well. I think we also do need to mention steward reports can still change stuff as well. I've got Tony Hitala, I can see in the chat saying that Rei's gave him damage as well. So if that possibly gets reported, that could maybe change stuff as well. And that could also throw this championship even more wide open, depending on what the stewards do as well. There is lots of chaos when it comes to the stewards room at the end of still provisional, but do keep an eye on socials where I'm sure we'll be updating you on everything that could change come this time next week when we crown a champion.
Absolutely. I would love to do the interviews, but I do have to shoot off. I just don't have the time for it. I would love to do it, but for now, it's been very good. It's been interesting. It's been spicy, and you shall see yourselves a showdown at the finale next week. But for now, it's been fun. And hopefully you shall see Sappy back, your usual comms duo. Omi, it's been a pleasure to be here with you. And hopefully we see each other in the booth once again.
Hopefully we will. Thank you very much, Corey.
No problem. Same time, same place next week. Do not miss this final. It's going the distance. See you next week.